Welcome to Dragonfly Trading. My name is Carrie, and I'm a full-time Elliott Wave trader in the crypto and Forex markets. Today's video is going to be an update on Bitcoin, ETH, and we're going to dive into the SP 500. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just the way that I see the market, and I intend to trade it. This video is going to be a little lengthy, so bear with me. It's just going to be a little longer than normal. If you are interested in becoming a successful trader yourself and learning my entire system, the link is in the description below. I have all different types of plans, and I'm sure there's one there for you. Also, I have a new Instagram where I post daily. The new link is in the description below. All right, let's get started. So, I wanted to go over this last bear market and how, and I've done this before, but I felt it was time to do it again. And how do we end up in a bear market? When the market was rallying here, it came to a peak. Its initial move down could have been a fourth wave, no problem, because it came right into the prior fourth. What happened is, at that time, the market had a chance to rally and continue this bull run, but it didn't do that. It made a flat correction here, which is a connector. Once it made the connector, then the initial leg gets attached to the connector, and you need a partner leg. Once we got the partner leg, at that point, we were still fine. We were not even really touching this prior fourth. The market had a chance to rally. It had a chance to continue this bull run. What happened is it made another connector. It made a flat correction. Once it did this, we had to connect this entire leg to the partner, to the connector, and it needed a partner. Now we have a move like this. We were still pretty much okay. Now we're down into the prior fourth where a fourth would like to take us. It's a little lengthy, but it was still okay. What the market did was create another connector. It created a expanded flat. Once it did that, now we have to attach this entire leg to the connector, and it needs a partner. Now we have a move like this, and now at this point, we had confirmed. Actually, with this rally, we confirmed that we were going into a bear market. Because when we made this flat, at that point, because of this three-wave move, I knew that we needed a partner for this entire move to the downside. Okay, at this point, the market did have a chance to continue the bull run. But what it did is it made a much bigger connector. And once it did that, then we needed a connector or a leg that matched this entire leg to the downside, and that is exactly what we got, which was the COVID dump. And that's how it takes place. So the moral of this is every time you make a connector, every time the market rallies in 3 waves and not 5, you will need a partner leg for the entire move that has happened before it to the downside. If it rallies in 3 waves again, you're going to need a move for that entire move to the downside. Okay. So this is how a bear market happens. The The market fails to make 5 waves out of here, and it makes 3, and then you have to connect the entire leg to the downside. So, with that being said, what do we not want to happen here? Well, if we know that we cannot rally in 3 waves, and this move here ends up turning into some type of 3-wave move, then we know that the first thing that's going to happen is we are going to need a partner leg to the downside like this. That's the first thing that's going to happen. At this point, the market has a chance to rally and continue, but it can only do that in a 5-wave move. If this rallies in 3 waves again, then we are going to need a partner for this entire leg connected to the downside. And eventually we'll be connecting this entire leg to a move to the downside. So, same thing. When we make a low, if we rally in 3, we're connecting legs to the downside. Okay? Just wanted to go over that. Let's go out to the weekly, and let's have a look at our weekly candle. Last week I talked about this potential bullish candle, but that we needed confirmation after it. If we can close this candle like this, which I think that there's a very good probability of it, we could potentially, and I'm on linear scale now because on log scale, we have front run the 1-to-1 extension. And I just don't see the market doing that. But on linear, we hit it. Okay. Which one is correct? I'm not sure. Like I've said many times, I wish log and linear didn't even exist, but they do. So there's a good chance on linear here that we have made a bottom. A bottom enough that we're going to rally out of here completely and continue the bull run, or we're going to make some kind of 3-wave move, and we'll talk about the other things that could happen. But this looks good, guys. It really does. It looks good on linear. On log, not so good because I don't think that we would front run that. But I can't say which one is correct. Okay. So let's quickly go over the counts because I've been over them many times. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring this in a little bit. So the bullish count that's still on the table is that we made a 5-wave move to the upside. That is not the end of something as a 5th. It's the start of something as a wave 1. Now, if this is going to hold true, and we are going to rally really high here, and this is a wave 1, and I'll go ahead and project it, and we have ended here. We are looking at a 5th wave without any overextensions, coming up into approximately 227 to 257,000. This is what this wave is going to look like because of how big this wave 1 is. And because of how big the wave 1 is, and because the 5th wave likes to be the same length, we would likely potentially might get a little overextended 5th. Okay? But for this to happen, we have got to turn around now. I don't want to see this roll over, because if it does, we're going to come into the bottom of our wave 1 here, and we're going to invalidate this count. We absolutely cannot touch the bottom here, and getting any closer would be too close for comfort. So if we're going to do this, we need to do it now. Okay. Triangle still on the table. It would mean that we could potentially end here, and we would go up in some type of 3-wave move. We'd have a 3-wave move back, and then we would come out of here for a big 5th wave. Okay, the ending diagonal count. It is not invalid yet. It still is holding okay, but I don't really want to see it go much higher. If it did, I would be looking at this more as an expanding diagonal, because the contracting really needs to hold right here to be true. If it goes higher, and we'll talk about this lower count, I will look at it as an expanding. So this count is still on the table. Okay. Basically 3-wave 1, 3-wave 2, zigzag for 3, and then we would end up making a 3-wave here, whether it's going to hold here and be a contracting, or it's going to make it an expanding. We would need 3 waves to the downside for 5 coming into this 1-to-1. Now, it can be an ending diagonal because it's all 3s, meaning that we could call it A, B, and this is a C to the 1-to-1, and we would be done. Or it can be a leading diagonal. If it is a leading diagonal and we complete this count, whether it makes expanding or contracting, it has 2 choices. Either it turns into A, we rally up for B, and we come down for C, or it's going to get really ugly, guys, and I hate to say this. This would be a 1. We would rally for 2. We would come very deep for 3, 4, and 5 would come somewhere down here. Okay? If this is a leading diagonal, but it has to complete it. It's not complete yet. We need the 4 to do its thing and then come down in a 3-wave move for 5. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about this count. This is more of the way that I'm leaning, either the diagonal or this count, because of the way that this is coming down. How I see it is that we have a zigzag for W. We had a 3-wave move up for X. We had a zigzag in the middle for Y. Now, if this turns into a 3-wave move, it'll be an X, and then we'll come down for a 3-wave move Y, 3-wave move for Z, potentially into the 1-to-1. Now, there's a slightly alternative count here. because W, X, Y, X, Zs are pretty rare. Even though it's looking kind of perfectly that way, the way these X waves look. But what it can turn into is that it turns this whole move into a higher degree W. This move would be X, and then we would come down deeper for Y. And it would still travel in this channel that I have made here. Okay, so the channel would just continue down until Y was complete. These two boxes here are the gaps that we have left. And we also have one, but it's very, very tiny, down at 9,800, something like that. So that's what these are, gaps. Okay. Okay. So it's either going to be WXYXZ or just a larger WXY. Okay. Let's talk about this one. Now, really, all of these counts, even though they're, a few of them, but all of these counts are all dealing with this leg. Okay? They're all dealing with this leg other than the triangle. Now, I have seen many ways that people are trying to count this as 5 waves. And not to get too technical about it, but this current way that I have it here is pretty much the only way to count it. Because, and I'll move this around a little bit so that you can see what I'm talking about here. I've seen people try to use this as a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. Well, your 4 just came into your 1. So that's off the table. Okay? I have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, and they think that a 5 is coming. But we have a problem here in the middle. We have a problem in the middle that if you're going to call this a 1 and a 2 and a 3, your 4 just came into your 1. Invalidation for this middle third wave. So the more I dig into it, the more that I try to make it the only way that I can do it is to make this 1, this 2. How did I have it? See, it's so complicated that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this would have to be an overextended 5th. That is the only way I can get it to work. Okay? Now, can it be done? On linear scale, yes. This ABC count can be done right here. Together, Carrie. Okay? But it's really funky looking. But it can be done here on linear scale because we hit the 1-to-1 on linear. What does it have to do? It has to get out of here in a 5-wave move. Nothing else. If it fails to do that, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on log so it'll come up a little bit, then what will happen, if it's going to get really ugly, we will use this 5 waves to make a wave 1. We'd rally for 2, then we get a 3, a 4, and a 5 on down. I can't project exactly how deep this will come until this 2 is in place. And 2 may not be done if this is the case. Okay? Now, before I get down into the lower time frames, we have many counts. We have the diagonal that says that it could be almost done. We have the triangle that would push us to the upside. We have, well, what happened to it? The WXY that could be done right here. Okay. So we have many counts that if we go on linear, tells us that we could be done here. Okay. So there's a very good chance that we are going to go, and we're going to talk about it because we have to come out of here in 5 waves. So let's go down to the lower time frame. And let's take a look at this move. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the RSI. Because on the daily time frame, we are challenging this pivot all the way at the top, meaning that this is pushed up and created bearish divergence with this current pivot all the way up here. So we have bearish divergence coming from this pivot, this pivot, this pivot, this pivot, and this pivot. That's pretty significant bearish divergence. Okay. And it's on the 12-hour. The 8-hour is very, very high. And the 4-hour is very high. So keep that in mind, okay, when we talk about these counts. So the first one is the bullish count. And it is assuming that this was a wave 1. All this in the middle was an ABC. Wave 2 is here. And we are in the middle of the third wave. Because the third wave needs to come to the 1.618 at approximately 46,720. We'd pull back for 4 and go up for 5. Okay, 5 has to come up here into these fib levels of 51,500. If we fail to pull back for a 4 and go up for a 5th, then this is not going to be an impulse wave. First off, we've got to get up to here at the 46,720 area to make this third wave. Okay, so this has got to complete itself. If it does this, it means one or two things. It means that we're going to create a wave, we're going to pull back for B and create C, and that's going to be some type of 3-wave, that's going to be a zigzag, a 3-wave move. And we don't want that. Or we're reversing and we're coming out of here bullish, and this will turn into a 1. You'll get a pullback for 2, and then here we go off with our 5th wave, okay? So if this makes 5 waves, not financial advice, but I would be getting in on that pullback. But it's got to make it. It's got to get all the way up here. The alternative is that we're making a corrective move. That this was an A wave, all this in the middle was a B wave, and that this is a C wave. Now this C wave can come as high, it can actually come very high. But I don't really see that it would come past this fourth wave territory, this prior fourth wave right here, this box. I don't really think that it would come past that. I mean, it could, but I think that if it's going to be a C, it's probably going to hold somewhere in the box area of this prior high. All right, well, that is Bitcoin. Let's move on to ETH. Okay, on linear scale, ETH has hit the 1-to-1, which means that this could be a complete move where we made 3, 3, and then we'll talk about the counts and what they can be. But this is potentially a bottom. But this wave has to do what we want it to do. Okay. First count is the triangle. Okay. Triangle is just what it is. We would come up in 3, down for 3, and then we would go out of here for the fifth wave. This is the bull count. This is assuming that we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that we're coming down and A, B, and C is done. This wave needs to do what we want it to do, and we'll talk about it when we get down there. Okay. This is the ABC. Which would create a WXY overall. Now this is a little different variation of it, and it's assuming that we've got one more wave to the downside. Because when I really look at this, okay, it looks to me like we have a 1 and a 2, and we need to be able to count the 5 waves in our third. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, an extended fifth. That would be our third wave. This would be our fourth wave, and then we would come down for 5. The only way that I see that it could be over is that somehow the third was here, the fourth was here, and then this was the fifth. Okay. But there's a problem. When you pull a fib extension on that, this third wave does not hit the 1.618. Now, on log scale, it does. But on log scale, we're front running the 1-to-1. So let me make this as simple as possible. We'd have to have it on log to make this be over. But we front run a very important fib extension. On linear, the third does not hit a proper fib extension. Okay. And it makes me feel like we have another leg to the downside. So which one it is for sure, I can't say. We're going to have to wait and see what this leg does. Okay? And this fourth can come up into the prior degree fourth, up into this box area, just like Bitcoin. And then we come down for the fifth. Okay. So let's go down into this wave, because everything that's going on here is dependent on this leg. And it's pretty much the same as Bitcoin. I mean, like, they're pretty much identical here. And that if it's going to be bullish, this is a 1. We had a running type WXY for 2. And we're in the middle of our third wave. Our third wave has to get up to 34.32. We'd pull back for 4, and then 5 has got to get up to 37.56-ish. Okay? It has to get up to these fib extensions. It can't just come to the 1.618 and assume that we've got what we needed. No. We have to have a third that comes here and a fifth that comes to the 2.236 for this to give us what we want. And just like Bitcoin, it would either give us an A, we'd pull back for B and go up for a big C, or it's going to continue the bull run and it's going to give us a 1 wave. We'll pull back for 2 and then we'll blast off. But absolutely, it's got to complete this 5 wave move. If it doesn't, then same as Bitcoin, I'm looking at it as a 3 wave move. An A, a B, a C, where it would most likely come in to this prior potential wave 4 territory. And then we would roll over. Okay? All right. Let's move on to the SP 500. Okay. I feel that this started back in 1942 from this point. I know that most people would want to try to start it from over here, but looking at this wave, it's corrective. And then we have a corrective pullback. I think when it first got started, way back in 1872, it was a choppy trying to find price discovery. And that it really started from this point. So I see a perfect wave 1. I see a pullback for wave 2. When you pull a fib extension on that, we have perfectly hit the 1.618. What does that tell me? It tells me that we are very close, if not almost there, in completing our third wave. Unless it's going to get overextended, which is always possible, that it gets an overextension, but we'll take a deeper look down on the lower time frames and see if we can tell if this is really coming to an end here for a third wave. Now, if that is the case, guys, we are up on the 6 months time frame. What it would mean is we would correct for a fourth wave. This will look like a bear market. It definitely 100% will. Because this little, well, it looks little on this chart, but this fourth wave took from 2000 to 2009. 9 years. They sat in this sideways range. This, when I put the time fib on it, we're looking at minimum of 2034. So, yeah, guys. But remember, it's not just going to go straight down. We would have an initial correction, a rally, and then a partner. So it's not going to just go straight down forever. This rally was from 2002 to 2007. So a good majority of those 9 years, we were moving to the upside. So it won't be all just straight down. Okay. All right, let's get in a little closer. Let's take a look at RSI. We definitely have our highest point at this third wave. And then we've got this bearish divergence here. Okay. So that is perfectly aligning with the fact that we're coming into a higher degree third. Let's move down to, here we go. So here's our 4. And as you can see, we are making this bearish divergence. Okay. We're making it because this 5th is coming very, very, very much closer to an end. And when it starts to come to an end like that, it starts to get this curled over look. Okay. These were more, pushing to the upside. When we're coming to an end, it starts to like curl over and lose its momentum, I could say. Okay. But right now, if this can hold this upward movement, we have some weekly divergence. All right, let's take a look at this last leg here from the 4. I'm going to have to go up to the 2-week to see it. But I see a wave 1, a wave 2. Inside of here, I see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a third. This was all 4, and now we're in the final 5th. You can see that this third came to the 1.618, which is what it's supposed to do. And now this 5th wave right now is sitting where a 5th wave should end. But it looks like it might want to overextend here. And now we're going to go and we're going to look in this last 5 waves here. And try to determine how close is this to being done. Okay, so I see a wave 1 and a 2. Let me go down a little bit here. Right here is our highest point on RSI. Okay, let me go back up. So that would be the truth right there. So I see 1, 2. All of this is 3 into the 1.618. So this 5th is soon. It could potentially push up to there. So basically 1, 2. All of this is 3. This could be 4, just like Bitcoin. And we could push up for 5. Okay? Or the alternative is that this was 3. Now remember, we are way up on the 2-day. This was 4. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. This was 3. This was 4. And this was 5. And we're going to correct. Which one it is, I can't say for sure. Let's take a look at this little leg right here and see what it's doing. Very choppy. This looks like a 3-wave move to me, where it made A, B, this very much looks to me like a 3-wave move. An A, a B, and a C. Now we'll probably come back up here maybe and fill that little gap. Okay, but we've got overlap here. We've got a 3-wave move here. So this 110% looks corrective to me, which means that we are going to be connecting this leg to this rally and back down. Okay, that's the way I see it. This looks like a potential flat, and that's what you find at the top of runs is an expanded flat. We're going to rally in 3 waves. It really looks like that, which means this leg, this is the connector, needs a partner. And then at that point, the market has a chance to rally, but it has to rally in 5 waves. If it doesn't, then what do, guys? We create a 3-wave connector, and then we're connecting this whole leg to this connector to the downside. And that's how the corrections get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little long. If you stuck with me to the end, I am going to be going live on Tuesdays for Tuesday TA, alt requests, whatever you guys want to talk about. Let me know you're looking forward to it. It will let me know you watch this to the end. And I just want to say that I appreciate each and every single one of you. Your comments have been amazing. Your support has been amazing. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful day.